So I'm staying in front of a property in Duluth, Georgia. This property is listed, I believe, for just under 300,000. It is definitely a property that needs a lot of work. As you can tell, unlike the video I posted the other day, there's no one here. So there's not a lot of demand for this particular house. It's actually been on the market for about 10 days. And is currently still on the market. So anything that would have been completed would have had multiple offers, multiple competition or whatever. But this one is sitting because it needs some work. I want to take you inside this house and let's take a look at it, because when houses need work, that is where the money's made. If you're willing to put in the risk of purchasing a property, fixing it up, and maybe not necessarily making money, or just the time and effort to renovate it, that's where the money's being made in this market right now. So let's take a look, and I'm going to walk you through and just show you what I'm seeing, and why I may or may not want to purchase this particular property, just to kind of give you an idea of sort of how we approach, buys and sells. All right, so from the beginning of the house, actually, before we go inside, let's take a look at the outside. The neighborhood looks decent. I'm looking at the houses next door. This house is a little bit run down. So as far as a rental concern, anybody that's going to want to buy this house is going to look at this one and go, hey, this is not, do I want this person as a neighbor? I'm not quite sure about that. We could actually probably cover that with trees depending on the layout. But look at this neighbor to the left side. This house over here is completely renovated. And if we can just step back and take a look at this house and how beautiful that one is, modern, painted, still the same era, same style of house or whatever. And then look at the house over to the right, completely, run down. So, and of course, this house sits right in the middle of it. The reason why this is important is because if you're looking at an overall neighborhood and should I invest in this, you kind of want to look and say, are these houses being turned over? Is the neighborhood going down or going up? This is only one of the houses that was renovated. There was about 3 or 4 down over here that were the very same, the new modern white kind of look, that were completely renovated. So if you're renovating here, you're renovating down there. Of course, we would renovate this one. You could tell that over time, all these houses might grow to be renovated and fixed up. So this could potentially be something that would increase or appreciate, or at least you wouldn't get a big decrease in property value because the housing and the neighborhood's going down. So into the house, what we're looking for here is the siding. We're looking for any deterioration. What is the type of siding? For the most part, it looks good. You're getting a little bit of weathering here, but we would expect that with this type of house. This is all easily fixable. One of the things we're also interested is the windows. You can tell these are new aluminum windows. This is actually very important. Some of the houses actually have wood windows, which is actually going to be less than ideal. This, you can see a little bit of rot happening outside on the siding. Not great, but probably nothing as far as the leaking. Just need overall painting of the exterior. So let's go take a look inside and see what we got. So immediately when I walk in, I like to look at what is the feel and the layout of the particular house. If I step back here and just kind of go into this corner, what I'm thinking about is what any homeowner is going to be thinking about is, where am I going to put my dining room? Where am I going to put that kitchen nook table? Where am I going to put my couch? And where am I going to sit and watch TV? As you enter in, it's not an ideal space, but workable. You could tell someone probably had a couch here eventually, but you could sit here on the couch, put some tables, some couches over here, table, and boom, right there looking at your TV. If you're working in the kitchen, cooking and stuff, you actually have a nice view of the TV as well. And of course, you're going to put your dining room and your kitchen nook here. Kitchen, pretty standard. There's no great island or nothing. In this era of house, you wouldn't necessarily see that. You can tell they had probably some sort of cabinetry here to add. You could potentially add some cabinetry here, or maybe a little, no, I just probably put a cabinetry there as well, just to give a little bit more of a counter space. But for overall, that's the kitchen. Now take a look at the cabinets. Now, one of the things we're always looking at is, what is the condition of the cabinets? Are they old? Are they beat up? Is this a cabinet that I could restain or repaint and reuse? Or is this a cabinet that I'm gonna have to completely tear out? This cabinet, as you can tell, is something that I can definitely reuse. I could paint this, and it would look decent. Appliances are all old. To replace all of those, a couple of grand, not too big of a deal. The dishwasher looks new. Standard sink, standard all of that. I wouldn't change out this if I was flipping this particular property. You could potentially go granite because this is a pretty nice condition on the Formica. I wouldn't actually change this out. I would actually just do the cabinets. And because of this is already in this cream beige color, I could go white and kind of stay with that theme as when a lot of houses are and would look really great. Obviously the fan looks terrible. Take this out of the kitchen. You have air vents that are molding, very, very bad. Makes me concerned with what the AC is, makes me concerned what's in that duct, mold issues, something to investigate a little bit later. But for the most part, the layout of initially walking in this living room would work. And definitely for a rental property, this would work all day long. Let's go take a look at the bedrooms downstairs. And this is a cool little split level. But if I walk in here, as I'm hoping, yes, this is a bedroom. And of course, you could use this as a media room. You can tell this person had a TV up over here. So maybe they had some couches down here, had a media room, but this could be a good separate bedroom for somebody because it has the bathroom. Now, check out these bathrooms. The same thing we're going to do as we did with the kitchen. What is the condition? Now, this is ugly, pretty beat up. You have laminate on the ground that's peeling up. You have toilet that looks pretty damaged. Some mold growing around there. But the countertop, same thing. Culture marble countertop with the cabinets. You could use both of these, change out the fixture, paint, maybe new blinds, clean those up, clean the toilet up, maybe put a wood floor in here, LVP floor. This carpet actually looks good with a little bit of cleaning. This property is okay. There's your air handler. We won't even talk about that, but when you're looking at air handlers, you want to look at the age of both the water heater and the air handler. If it's an old one, obviously, as you already know, you could potentially have issues that you're going to have to fix up. All of the doors and all of are pretty much dirty, as you can see. That's going to scare a lot of people away from this house. Look at the dirt that's on those. This is going to scare people away. For me to paint this house, I'm looking at $2,000. I could absolutely care less. I could paint this all. It would look completely different. Looking at the carpet, this would be a big expense. If you had to replace it, looks perfectly fine. It is this beige color. So if you were going to paint, you'd want to match that, probably the same color they have here. There's some stains probably would come up and off the floor by cleaning it. Maybe, maybe not. That would be something we'd have to see. Closet's pretty standard, nothing big here. Again, the windows look decent, rip screen, no big deal. So going into the other rooms, this is the first bedroom, and we have the second bedroom here. So decent size, definitely enough to put in, single bed for, think if you have two kids, standard family, two kids there sharing this bathroom. Now, if you go into this bathroom, very different than the other one. You could tell they did something. They tried to paint the cabinets. They did the culture marble. Mirror's okay. Light has to be exchanged. But the shower, they actually started to renovate the shower, but they didn't do a very good job. So maybe able to keep some of that, maybe not really sure. Don't like the black tile, but maybe we could finish it out in some way. But again, not terrible. So going into here, this would be considered the master. It's a little small, but it is in the time of this era. It's got a nice, decent closet, which is what a renter is going to be interested in. There's some weird drywall stuff going on there. Makes me think there's some kind of leak or something on that side. And then if you go into the master, this is a pretty small master. There's not even tile. There's pretty much mold growth grown in here. That's going to scare a lot of people away. But as far as the sink, the toilets and all of that, this would be replaced. You'd probably go with, a cabinet piece here, different mirrors, different lights up in here, but overall, small, something to work with. And that's it, folks. That is the entire house. 2 bedrooms there with a bathroom, the master, and downstairs. So let's recap, but let's talk about this house and why it may or may not be a good investment. So real quick, just wanted to do a recap on this property and why we think it's a good deal or if it's a bad deal. Let's just reflect on what we saw in the beginning. On the left and the right side, you have two contrasting areas. You have one really great property that's completely renovated, that looks great. You love to have that person as your neighbor. And on the right side, it looks like a house that's about to fall down, completely crazy. And you're kind of smack right in the middle of it. For a renter that's coming in this particular area, this is a high demand area. They're not going to like the neighbor to the right, but they're going to make the no like the neighbor to the left, and that's probably going to cancel itself out. The person that's going to be here was probably going to be okay with that neighbor to the right. After all, they're not buying the house; they're just renting it maybe for a couple of years. We hope for in that neighborhood, in this neighborhood, that the house on the right eventually gets purchased by someone like us, that gets renovated along with some of the other houses in the neighborhood. We're already seeing that. So we're seeing a community or a neighborhood that's potentially at least stabilized or on its way up. And that gives opportunity for potentially having a little bit of an appreciation over a period of time, versus going into community where the houses aren't being taken care of. You're not seeing renovations happening. You're not seeing upkeep happening, and you can actually get a depreciation or a decrease in the price. When we go inside, what we see is a lot of work that needs to be done, mainly around cleaning it up. The floor is dirty. There's cobwebs everywhere. There's stains on every surface that's in here. The entire house basically has to be repainted, all the trim, all the walls. Estimated for that in this particular house is $2,000. It could go as much as $3,000 because all the doors and trim and all of that needs to be painted as well. But we need to give this house a good cleaning before we really know what we got. If you go into the bathrooms, basically they all have to be renovated. The showers have to have new tile put in. The toilets are probably usable. The sinks are probably usable. Maybe switching out just that master sink to have something a little bit nicer, higher end. We're probably going to take down the mirrors off the wall. We'll put up some standard frame mirrors. We'll replace things like this old fan behind me, and the one that's in the kitchen with some modern fixtures. The kitchen nook needs a modern fixture. All the bedrooms need a modern fixture. But those are really cheap. You're talking about maybe $100 or so a pop. The carpet looks decent. We'd have to get it a good cleaning. We sort of fingers crossed that those stains will come out. Even if the stains come out, there's an opportunity we could actually tint the carpet or dye the carpet to make it a different color. You could go with a darker color, and this particular house would work. Overall, the carpet is in actually a very, very good condition. And of course, what we love about this house is the amount of bedrooms in the bathrooms. You have a master upstairs with his own bathroom in suite, which is nice. And then if you had two children or something, you can have an opportunity where those two children share the bedrooms right across the hall and share the bathroom in the hall. So basically setting up with a 3-2. But then we get the bonus room that's downstairs on that split level that has both a bedroom and a bathroom. So you could use that as a media room, put some couches in there. Or if you had a larger family, that could be potentially someone for an in-law, a guest suite, or maybe just another family member. And to be honest with you, that room downstairs is actually even a little bit larger, probably even more of a desirable room for a master than even the one that's up in the hallway. As far as the exterior, not great on the siding. We definitely have to do some work there, some painting on the outside. The landscaping is fine. The backyard has a great view. So no issues there. Overall, this is a great house. And the reason why we love it is because the price point matches the opportunity as far as the improvement that we have to put into, that value add that we're going to have to put into it, the possibility of appreciation, and what we can rent it for. A property like this, just a standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a condition that's renovated, is going to rent for about $2,000 a month in this particular area without even thinking about it. Because we add the extra bedroom, we think we can push this for about $2,200. So you can run the math. This house was listed at about $300,000. We think we can go a little bit less because this house has been in the market. Maybe we'll pick it up for $290. Put $20,000, maybe $30,000 into it. So you're at about $320,000. You're going to have a mortgage, without just quick math on my mind, of around $1,300 or so, probably with escrow and taxes and all that included. No HOA in this. So $1,300, renting out for $22,000. You're looking at about a nice cash flow of about $1,000. Pretty good. A few things we need to do before we, obviously, are all going to call about this property is an inspection. This is a property that we would, when doing an offer, we would request to do a good amount of due diligence on it. This isn't a property that we would want to waive any kind of due diligence or just say buy it as is. There are some concerns of what we saw in the events. they're rusted, they're like there's mildew inside. We definitely want to have someone come in and look at that ductwork to make sure that there's not a mold problem inside the ductwork, or that the ACs are functional and all that works. They all look old, they look pretty original, so those are pretty big expenses. If you had to replace the AC unit, you're looking at another, $5,000 to $8,000 to do so. So that would be a bigger expense. We'd want to figure that in. We could probably replace those and still make this deal work, but it is something we want to expect. You would never want to buy a house like this just sight unseen as is, unless you're just super high risk, and that's not the way we roll. So hopefully this video was, good for you, had a little bit of, sort of value. If it is, we try to post videos like this all the time, just trying to give you a day in the life, the properties that we're looking at, why we're buying, why we're not buying, for our investors out there. Investing in real estate is just one of the tools that we use to build that generational wealth. If you do find value in this video or any of our videos, we appreciate, obviously, a thumbs up. Allows Google or YouTube to find us. Hit the subscribe bell, hit the so you get alerts from us every time we post a video. We try to put one up about once a week. And of course, if you have any questions about this property or another one, or why we like something, or you saw something that concerned you and you wonder why it didn't concern us, post your comment below. We try to respond to all the comments as much as we possibly can, but post it. Love to hear from you. Would you buy this house? Would you not buy this house? Is it something that you put in your portfolio? I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks.